Something unbelievable just happened in the hockey world. A comment from the greatest player to ever step on the ice has fans arguing, celebrating, and questioning everything they thought they knew about one NHL superstar. This wasn't just a compliment. It was a statement so powerful that it may have changed Sidney Crosby's legacy forever. But what Wayne Gretzky said next is what truly shocked the hockey world.
Now.
Wayne
and,
Gretzky.
Sid was asked about, how much longer maybe he wants to play, and he basically said he wants to play till the wheels fall off. Is that just indicative of the love of sport, or how do you kind of feel like he views it here as a man who played 20 years in your sport as well?
He wants to continue. And listen, he's our Tom Brady. He's our LeBron James, a guy that can still bring it at an older age. Let's face facts. He's not 18 anymore. He's getting older.
Wayne Gretzky has spent his entire life around greatness. He played against some of the best players hockey has ever seen. He broke records that many people thought would never be touched. Even today, decades after his retirement, he remains the standard by which every hockey player is measured. That is exactly why his recent comments about Sidney Crosby have become one of the biggest stories in the NHL. During a discussion about Crosby's career and future, Gretzky made a comparison that immediately grabbed attention. He compared Sidney Crosby to Tom Brady and LeBron James. Those are not ordinary names. Brady is widely considered the greatest quarterback in NFL history. LeBron James is one of the greatest basketball players ever. Both athletes built legendary careers through championships, leadership, and incredible longevity. Hearing Gretzky place Crosby in that same group surprised many fans and started a major debate across the hockey world. For years, Sidney Crosby has been one of the faces of the NHL. When he entered the league in 2005, expectations were incredibly high. Fans, coaches, and analysts all believed he could become a generational player. Living up to those expectations is never easy, especially when the entire hockey world is watching your every move. But Crosby did something very few athletes have ever done. He not only met those expectations, he exceeded them. Throughout his career, Crosby has built a resume that few players can match. He helped lead the Pittsburgh Penguins to 3 Stanley Cup championships in 2009, 2016, and 2017. He won 2 Olympic gold medals with Team Canada and scored the famous golden goal at the 2010 Winter Olympics. The biggest reason Gretzky's comments have created so much discussion is because they have reopened one of hockey's most important debates. Where does Sidney Crosby rank among the greatest players in NHL history? For years, fans have argued about this question. Names like Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Orr, Mario Lemieux, and Gordie Howe are usually mentioned first. These players helped shape hockey and set standards that future generations tried to reach. Now, more and more fans believe Sidney Crosby deserves to be mentioned right beside them. What makes Crosby's case so strong is that his impact goes far beyond numbers. Yes, his statistics are impressive. Yes, his championships are important. But Crosby's influence on the game is what separates him from many other stars. Since becoming captain of the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2007, he has been the leader of one of the NHL's most successful organizations. Through championship runs, injuries, playoff battles, and difficult seasons, Crosby remained the face of the franchise. Teammates trusted him, coaches relied on him, and opponents respected him. This is another reason why Gretzky compared him to Tom Brady and LeBron James. When people talk about Brady, they often mention leadership. When people discuss LeBron, they talk about leadership as well. Great athletes do more than score points or win games. They inspire the people around them. They set the standard for their teams. Throughout his career, Crosby has done exactly that. Young players entering the league often look at him as an example of how to prepare, compete, and carry yourself as a professional. But there's also an emotional side to this story. Many hockey fans grew up watching Sidney Crosby. For nearly 20 years, he has been one of the NHL's biggest stars. Every season, fans expected to see him making big plays, leading his team, and competing against the best players in the world. Because he has been around for so long, it can sometimes be easy to forget just how special his career has been. That is why Gretzky's comments hit so hard. They reminded fans that greatness should be appreciated while it is still happening. Every legendary athlete eventually reaches the final chapter of their career. No one plays forever. Crosby is still performing at a high level, but many fans are beginning to realize that the hockey world will look very different whenever he decides to step away from the game. And maybe that is the real message behind Gretzky's words. This was not simply about comparing Crosby to Brady and LeBron. It was about recognizing a player whose career has inspired millions of fans and helped shape an entire generation of hockey. When the greatest hockey player of all time places Sidney Crosby in the same conversation as some of sport's biggest legends, it sends a powerful message. Sidney Crosby's legacy is no longer just a hockey story. It is becoming one of the greatest stories in all of sports.
Well, what puts Lane Hutson among the league's elites is his incredible game-breaking abilities we see from him night after night. To me, he's become the most exciting D-man to watch on a nightly basis for many reasons. One, it's the incredible hockey IQ, the way he impacts the game offensively. Just when you think he's going to make a play that you see as the obvious one, he makes one that just blows people's minds. I mean, he's got you on the edge of your seat every game because he's making plays basically out of nothing. He's got ankle-breaking abilities.
Everybody laughed at Lane Hutson when he entered the NHL. Scouts said he was too small, too weak, and not built for hockey at the highest level. But now, the entire NHL is starting to panic. Canadiens fans believe they may have found their next superstar defenseman. And after what one top NHL insider just revealed, people are asking a terrifying question. Did the league make a huge mistake by passing on Lane Hutson? Lane Hutson was never supposed to become this good. That is what makes his story so unbelievable. For years, NHL scouts looked at Hutson and saw one big problem: his size. At only 5'9", many teams believed he was simply too small to survive in the NHL. Some scouts thought bigger players would destroy him physically, while others believed he could never defend against the league's best stars. Because of those doubts, team after team passed on him during the NHL draft. Lane Hutson had to sit there and watch dozens of players get selected before him. In the end, the Montreal Canadiens picked him 62nd overall in the second round. At the time, almost nobody believed it was a franchise-changing move. But now, that draft decision may become one of the biggest steals in modern NHL history. Over the last year, Hutson has completely shocked the hockey world. Instead of struggling, he has become one of the most exciting young defensemen in the entire NHL. His skating looks elite, his passing is dangerous, and his hockey IQ looks unbelievable for such a young player. And the scary part is that he keeps getting better. This season, Hutson exploded offensively and started putting up numbers that even superstar defensemen would respect. He became one of Montreal's biggest offensive weapons and quickly turned into a fan favorite. Every game, Canadiens fans started seeing something special, not just a good young player, but a future superstar. Many fans are already comparing Hutson to Canadiens legend PK Subban. Some are even saying Hutson could become better offensively. That is how crazy the hype has become. But what makes this story even more powerful is how personal it feels for hockey fans. People love underdog stories. They love watching doubted players prove everybody wrong. And that is exactly what Lane Hutson is doing right now. Every point he scores, every highlight play he creates, and every game he dominates feels like revenge against every scout that doubted him. That is what makes the rest of the NHL nervous. Lane Hutson is only 21 years old, and he is already playing like a future superstar. The numbers alone are unbelievable. This season, Hutson became one of the highest scoring young defensemen in hockey and proved he could completely change games with his speed and vision. But statistics only tell part of the story. The real reason hockey fans are losing their minds over Lane Hutson is the way he plays. Every time he touches the puck, something exciting feels ready to happen. He moves across the ice with confidence, escapes pressure easily, and somehow always finds passing lanes that other players cannot even see. That feeling became even stronger during the playoffs. When the pressure got bigger, Hutson did not disappear, he got better. He scored huge goals, created massive moments, and became one of Montreal's most dangerous players on the ice. One playoff overtime goal instantly exploded online, and fans could not stop talking about him afterward. But what made people love Hutson even more was his reaction after the game. Instead of acting like a superstar, he stayed humble and relaxed. After scoring the overtime winner, Hutson joked that it might have been his first slap shot all season. Fans loved that moment because it showed the kind of person he really is. Still, not everybody is fully convinced yet. Some NHL critics believe his size could become a problem in the future. Bigger teams may try to play more physical against him, and some analysts still question whether he can defend consistently during long playoff runs. But people said the exact same things about smaller stars, like Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar. Now those players are among the best defensemen in the world. That is why so many fans believe the NHL may have underestimated Lane Hutson badly. And if that happens, Montreal could become a serious problem for the rest of hockey. The Canadiens already have young stars like Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, and now they may also have an elite superstar defenseman leading the future of the franchise. Suddenly, this team looks very different. Suddenly, the future looks dangerous. And now one terrifying thought is spreading across the hockey world. What if Lane Hutson is not just a good young defenseman? What if the Montreal Canadiens secretly found the next face of the NHL?
They announced the nominees for the Ted Lindsay Award, and your nominees are Macklin Celebrini of the San Jose Sharks. You can see the numbers there for Celebrini. What a year that young man had. Almost pushed the Sharks into the playoffs. Nikita Kucherov, he is a two-time Ted Lindsay Award winner, and he is nominated once again. And then, of course, Connor McDavid, a four-time Lindsay Award winner.
Something inside the NHL just flipped overnight, and fans did not see it coming. A list was released, but one name on it changed everything. Two of the biggest stars in hockey were expected. The third name shocked players across the league. This was not a media vote. This came from the players themselves, and what they decided is now raising serious attention across the sport. The announcement came from the Ted Lindsay Award, one of the most respected honors in hockey. This award is not chosen by reporters or analysts. It is voted by NHL players. These are the same players who compete on the ice every game. Their vote reflects direct experience against opponents during the season. The finalists were officially confirmed as Connor McDavid, Nikita Kucherov, and Macklin Celebrini. This list was reported by Reuters as a star-studded trio. The first two names followed expected patterns based on performance. The third name changed the discussion immediately. Connor McDavid's selection came after another strong season. He remained one of the top point producers in the league. His role in the Edmonton Oilers offense continued to be central. He led plays, controlled puck movement, and contributed heavily to scoring chances. McDavid has already won this award multiple times in past seasons. His inclusion matched his consistent performance record. Nikita Kucherov also secured his place based on measurable output. He ranked among the top scorers during the season. His performance included goals and assists across multiple game situations. He contributed strongly on the power play and during even strength play. Kucherov's presence on the list reflected his steady offensive production. The focus quickly shifted to the third finalist. Macklin Celebrini's inclusion introduced a different type of player into the same category. He is at an early stage in his NHL career. Despite that, his performance this season placed him in direct comparison with experienced players. His ice time, scoring contribution, and consistency across games supported his position among finalists. The reaction to this finalist list focused on how the voting reflects direct competition. Players face each other across a full season. They track speed, control, and decision-making in real time. This makes the Ted Lindsay Award different from awards decided by media members. The selection shows which players stand out during actual gameplay situations, and that distinction remains central after the announcement. Connor McDavid's performance continued to follow a consistent pattern. He remained among league leaders in assists and total points. His ability to control puck movement and create scoring opportunities stayed constant across games. His ice time remained high, and he played a central role in offensive sequences for the Edmonton Oilers. These measurable factors supported his position among finalists without deviation. Nikita Kucherov's season also aligned with statistical output. He maintained a high scoring rate and contributed across multiple game situations. His role in Tampa Bay's offense remained stable. He produced both goals and assists while maintaining efficiency during power play opportunities. His inclusion reflected sustained production across the regular season, and his numbers remain among the top in the league. Macklin Celebrini's placement introduced a different set of data points. His performance came during the early stage of his NHL career. Despite limited experience compared to the other finalists, his contributions remained consistent across games. He recorded scoring plays and maintained regular ice time against experienced opponents. This placed him in direct comparison with players who have longer careers and larger statistical records. The difference between experience levels became more visible after the announcement. McDavid and Kucherov have multiple full seasons of high-level performance. Celebrini's inclusion reflects performance within a shorter time frame. This contrast created a measurable gap in total games played, career points, and overall experience, but the voting process placed all three names in the same category. The voting method used by players places emphasis on direct impact during games. This includes puck control, offensive pressure, and the ability to influence play outcomes. Players base their decisions on real matchups rather than external analysis. This approach explains why performance during specific games can carry weight in the final selection. Reuters reporting confirmed that the finalists were selected through standard NHL Players Association voting. The report described the group as a star-studded trio, highlighting both established players and emerging talent. No irregularities or changes in voting criteria were reported. The process remained consistent with previous seasons. The timeline for the final result has not yet been released. The winner will be announced following the completion of the voting process. Until that point, the finalist list continues to draw attention due to the contrast in player experience and performance levels, and that focus has not slowed down.
Here's William Nylander from today on what he has seen this year and maybe what he thinks has possibly gone wrong with the Leafs.
You look back at it and go, you kind of wish the team had done something different, like it was played different, or I don't know. When you look back at it, do you see the mistakes that as they piled up, kind of?
I mean, I have like my thoughts about maybe some stuff, but I mean that's something I'm going to keep to myself.
Okay. So yeah, Willie's not going to reveal it, not surprisingly, and I don't think he shouldn't just sit there and start throwing daggers.
Silence can be louder than anything, and William Nylander just proved it in a way no one expected. After a season full of pressure and criticism, he faced the media, and instead of explaining, he gave one cold sentence that instantly spread across the NHL. No details, no emotion, just silence. And now, that silence is raising questions no one can answer. Yet, the moment happened quickly, but it changed the entire conversation around the Toronto Maple Leafs. Reporters asked William Nylander a direct question about the season. It was a normal question. Players are asked this all the time, especially after a difficult stretch. Most players respond with simple answers. They talk about effort, mistakes, or what needs to improve. Nylander did not do that. He paused, stayed calm, and gave a short answer. He said, "Something I'm going to keep to myself." That was the full response. He did not add anything else. He did not explain what he meant. He did not go into details about the team or the season. The interview moved on, but the moment did not. This response quickly became a major talking point across hockey media. According to Sportsnet, Nylander chose not to explain where the season went wrong. The report confirmed that he declined to share his thoughts publicly when asked directly. That choice stood out immediately. Players usually give structured answers in these situations. They often say the team needs to be better or that small mistakes made a big difference. These answers are common. They are expected. Nylander's response did not follow that pattern. It was short, it was controlled, and it gave nothing away. Another report from Toronto Sun also highlighted this moment. The article explained that Nylander clearly has opinions about the season, but decided not to share them. The focus was not on what he said, but on what he chose not to say. That made the moment different. The Maple Leafs have been under heavy pressure. Expectations were high throughout the season. Media coverage has been constant. Players have faced repeated questions about performance, effort, and results. Nylander has been part of that environment. His response came during that pressure. It did not include frustration or anger. His tone stayed neutral, his words stayed limited. But the message was still clear. He was not going to explain his thoughts. That decision created a strong reaction. The reaction to that moment grew quickly, and the focus shifted from the team's performance to Nylander's response itself. Media coverage continued to highlight the same quote. The sentence, "Something I'm going to keep to myself," was repeated across broadcasts and articles. It became the main reference point in discussions about the Toronto Maple Leafs. This level of attention did not come from length or detail. It came from what was missing. According to Sportsnet, Nylander has often handled media in a controlled and private way. He does not regularly share deep internal thoughts in interviews. That pattern helps explain the response, but it does not fully remove the impact of the moment because the situation was different. The question was about a full season. It came during a period when the team was under strong public evaluation. In these moments, players are expected to give insight, even if it is limited. Nylander chose not to provide that insight. That choice became the story. Coverage from Toronto Sun emphasized that Nylander had thoughts on the season but decided not to reveal them. The article did not include any further explanation from him. The original quote remained the only direct comment. No follow-up changed that. Nylander did not expand on his answer in later interviews. He did not clarify what he meant. The single sentence remained unchanged. That consistency kept the focus on the original moment. The absence of detail continued to drive attention. In most interviews,